it's time to make something fun. What we're going to do now is we're going to create a towel embossing design. And a towel embossing design is pretty simple to do, and it's very, very impressive. It's a great gift. What it does is it creates an embossed effect on something like a terry cloth towel, where the majority of the design is just knocking down the nap of the towel, and what we're going to do is a lettering design, and the lettering is going to pop out. So the only thing that's not held down is going to be the letters, and they look like they're popping out of the towel. It looks really cool, and it's pretty simple to do. But if you have another program and you're used to doing it a certain way, it works a little bit differently in this. So let's jump right into it. First thing we want to do is select the hoop that we're going to use, and what you want to do generally is you want to make this as large as possible for the best effect. So we're going to select a nice large hoop, go to the preferences and select our hoop. I'm going to choose the Destiny large hoop. I'm also going to rotate it by 90 degrees because it's a little bit easier to get the design as wide as I want if I have the hoop rotated 90 degrees. So we'll hit OK. So zoom out a little bit and we can see we've got this whole area to work with. It's 9.5 by 14, the Destiny big hoop. So you got plenty of room if you've got one of those for doing a big giant towel. And whatever machine you have, just use the largest hoop that you have available. So next step, we need to get the background, the part that's going to be knocking down the majority of the nap of the towel. And this can be any shape, really. We're going to do a rectangle, but you can do this with any of the shapes that come in here. So if you want to be creative and not use a square like I am, you could do any of these. You could do the dog bone or flames or something like that. They all work. I'm just going to start with the regular old square here and hit OK. So we want to stretch this square out so that it's wide, and we'll make it a little taller too, like that. Okay, so it doesn't really matter the exact dimensions that you make this. It's totally up to you what size you make your embossed design. But once you get your rectangle to the size that you want it to be, then what we need to do is go to our True Type Font button, which is over here on the left-hand side. It's got two T's next to each other. You left-click on that, and the fonts that you want for this, you want to have a pretty fat font. You don't really want to use a super skinny font because the fatter your letters are, the more pop you're going to get with your embossing. So look through your fonts and find one. You can tell in the list the ones that are fatter. They're bold. One in particular that works well if your computer has it is Cooper Black. That works great. Impact works pretty good. Most people have Arial Black. That's going to work really well too. So just find one that you like. I'm going to go back to Cooper because I really like that. Cooper Black. So this is the one that I like to use. I'm, of course, going to do Meadow, so M-E-A-D-O-W. And once you have your word that you want in there, just go ahead and hit OK. So it's going to bring the letters in. We need to size our letters. So we're just going to grab one of the corners and stretch it out so that it gets nice and big. And put it so that it's pretty much centered inside of your rectangle that you made. Okay, so now here's where we're going to differ a little bit from if you've done this in other programs with me. What we want to do is we actually want to break apart these letters. If you don't break apart the letters before you do this, for some reason this program cuts the holes out, so there would be no hole in the D, no hole in the A, no hole in the O. So we don't want that. So to break these apart, you're going to go up to Create, and then under Outline, you're going to move your mouse over Outline and then go down to Separate Holes. Okay, so left click on that, and the holes will now be separated out from the outer part. So this is now a separate part from the A. And if we go to our object tree and hit the little plus sign, we'll see that only the outer parts of the letters are selected, and those pieces that we broke out by separating the holes are not selected. So that's perfect. The next thing that we want to do is select the rest of the design. So hold down your control key. Don't click anything else. Hold down your control key and then select the design. If you accidentally click somewhere else at that point, what you would have to do is manually go in and reselect all the outer parts of the design, because we want only these outer parts of the line selected with this rectangle part. Okay, so what we're going to do now is once we have the rectangle part selected and the outer parts of the letters, we're going to go back up to create, and we're going to choose outline. We're going to choose combine holes. Okay, we want to have just the outer parts of these letters, not the inner parts, combined with the rectangle. So now if I select my rectangle, you see it lights up all the whole outer parts of the letters, and the inner parts are not being selected. Okay, that's how we want this. Alright, so the next thing that we need to do is select everything at once. Okay, so we can do that by going to our object tree and left click and dragging a box around everything. That works. We could also hit Control and A. Now, once everything is selected, we're going to hit one color to make it so that we don't have two separate colors in here. So we left click on one color, and then we pick the color. And the color, honestly, it doesn't matter what color you pick, because what you're going to do is you're going to match your thread color when you actually sew this out. You're going to match it to the towel as close as possible. So say we're sewing this out on a too many colors to pick from. It really doesn't matter. A lemon yellow towel, who cares? And we hit OK, right? So we've got our color selected, and all of our elements are selected. We can see in the object tree. All we have to do now is go over and left click on the freestanding or quilted fill icon here. It's the last one if you have level 1. You might have to search for it a little bit if you've got level 2 or 3, because there's other icons. So in level 1, it's right here. We left click on it, and what you're going to see is, once it finishes thinking about it, that it actually goes and puts down this heavy fill around everything. And we're going to go in and adjust this so that it's not as heavy. But just to show you, if you've got level 2, then yeah, it's second from the end. If you've got level 3, then it's still second from the end in the stitch section here. So okay, if you hover your mouse, it's freestanding or quilted fill. Okay, so once you've turned everything into the freestanding lace fill, then you're going to go up to create one more time, and go to design this time, and choose combine designs, because what it actually has done is it split the design into 2 pieces when we did that, and we need it to be one so we can edit everything together. So design and combine designs. So now we can select all of our lace areas at once, and we can change the settings down here. Okay, so we want to make sure that the pattern is set on single, which it is, and we want to change the density a little bit. We're going to increase this number, and when you're making changes to this, it might take a little longer than usual because it has to think really hard about it. But I'm going to set this to 3.5. My computer's thinking really hard. There we go. I got the 3.6, but that's fine. And that's just because this design is so very big that it is really thinking about it a lot. But if you look, now you see what this is going to do when we sew this out on a towel. It's going to knock down the nap of the towel with this net fill, and then the rest of our stitches are going to come out right through the middle here, and it looks really, really good when you do that. So it's just a pretty, I mean, it's, you got to do the steps in the right order, but that's what the video is for. So you take this, you save it, you sew it out on a towel, and you give it to somebody as a gift, and they are amazed at how you managed to do this incredible thing. So anyway, that's towel embossing in a nutshell. There is going to be a more advanced version of it that I show you later where we add some flourishes to it. But this is the gist of how to do it. Remember, like I said, you can do this with any shape, and not only can you do the outer part with any shape, but the inner part doesn't have to be letters. You could have a dog bone embossed on a rectangle if you wanted to, or you could draw your own thing and have the embossing. Remember, the TrueType font artwork is just an outline, just like anything that we draw. So you could draw a shape and combine it with the outer part and have your own totally custom towel embossing. That's not lettering. So lots of stuff you can do with that. Anyway, that's it for the towel embossing basic version video. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.